Hey everybody, this is Captain Unusual, and I'm here with the Deviant Historian, and we have our landline phones here, and he's going to give you some information about the history of the phones and their historical and cultural significance. Take it away.
So these phones here are both Model 500 phones. They were made from 1948, right after World War II, until about 1984 when the Bell divestiture occurred. And what happened with that is there was an antitrust legislation, and really activist judges did determine they were going to divest that, and it really led to the creation of the yes, the current telecom structure. Now yours, if you listen to that tone, it sounds a lot lighter. I kind of wonder if this was a reconfigured Model 300, which was really made from the early 30s up until, I'd say, the 50s. Because the 854 area code there, that's kind of the Martell area, right?
It's Springville.
Springville, okay. And mine is 846, so it's kind of the Fairfax area. These are both of our grandfather's phones. So let's zoom in on this for a second and listen to this turn. Listen to this. So you can hear it does the rotary and it does that, and
It doesn't pause.
okay. And so these are the types of configurations here. This is really more of a traditional type of phone jack that you would see here. And then really what you see here is kind of the precursor of what you would see is a traditional like Ethernet jack. So what's still? Are you taking this?
No. This is good. This is good.
This is like
Keep things going. What?
Oh, this is raw and unedited.
Yep.
So look at this here. So I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to make you hold for a minute. Why don't you hold this in your hand and just kind of examine it and look at how the lines are done, how they bent them. I believe that's called RJ11 chord, if I'm right, or RJ3.
It's beautiful.
Now here, what I'm going to show you is more of a standard Ethernet cord. This is kind of the evolution of networking in quartz. This is what you would plug into most laptops. This is, I believe they call it a Cat5, or RJ45.
So we'll compare the two here.
So that's a traditional, that'd be like dial-up or traditional phone lines there. And just kind of how these work and maneuver quite a bit.
Say hello. Hello.
This was made in the USA. You can see the company that makes it. I don't know, can you make out what that says? That's your company. It's not Western Electric, which I believe made a lot of the mainstream
Stromberg Carlson.
Okay, so
Stromberg
that's
Carlson.
that one. And on the back here we can see it's a Model 500 and I think a Model 500D. But it also had a cool kind of retro conversion again with that type of cord that really kind of standardized a lot of the networking that more people are familiar with. Now this one here, the traditional one from my family's, they had a lot of these really old, weirder plugs, which you can definitely tell are pretty proprietary. What's cool with this is the universality, how universal the thing is. It's pretty much what it boils down to. Because you can plug this in, it really empowers the end user to say, I'm going to plug my phone here, I'm going to plug my phone there, and just it gives the power to the people with their phone usage and their phone choice.
It allows them to liberate themselves.
Yes.
From big communication.
To some extent, it gives them flexibility on which jack do I want, and it allows the standardization that eventually allowed for other models. But wait.
So it helps the public decide how they want to get jacked.
Pretty much. But one thing you can look at when you look at these phones, these are also a symbol of American power and American standardization and conformity kind of through the culture. Because you think about this is an empowering device. This at your fingertips has you could call anywhere. You could go anywhere.
Yep.
You just punch this in and you hit 0 for the operator, like both of these say. If you focus in on it, there's an operator. Yep. Now, if you want to do an operator, you're lucky if you can get 611 and get your company on the line. But it used to be you could just do a operator, and then it'd be some beautiful woman on the other line, and you're like, give me New York, I have an important message that I have to do, or something along those lines. But you pay like $15, which is like half your wage that week, to have a 2-minute phone call in New York, or something ridiculous. So long distance really has gone down. Um, you know, and this phone too was made by ITT, which also ties into the defunct for-profit college, the ITT Technical Institute. But ITT was kind of a defense contractor and really a diversified company. I believe they even owned hotels and a whole variety of different assets. And one of them, they just made phones for rural telecom cooperatives. Back in probably the 60s is when I'd say this phone was. And that one's probably 40s to 50s. Yep. They really had kind of a cool style with this. If they kind of follow the Henry Ford, you can get it in any color you want as long as it's black. And it really has the utilitarian and functional value. I mean, if we pick both of these up, we can see here your talking point. Here you see all the holes and all that. So it really optimizes the amount you can get in. And this, it really kind of minimizes it and allows the focus of the ear in the ear hole. So you can, get that going. But they both feel about the same weight. This also has the company's name. They both have it. It says ITT here. And it says whatever your German one is here that you got. They also have the different numbers. Everybody's so used to 911 and dialing 911. You did not dial that. You had this one. You probably had 27 other numbers for different, regulatory and emergency services that you need. You'd be like, hurry, Betsy, there's a fire and there's a cat stuck in a tree. And then instead of going, here we can go 9. Look at how fast that rotary pulls this thing, man. 1. Oh, wait. 1 was actually there. I messed that one up. 1. 1. And you could get it. Instead of going 8. When seconds count, it's only minutes away to pull this rotary. And then, you get that. And it really kind of allows for a quicker and standardized communication thing. And up until, I think in the 60s, there really wasn't the area code. So like here, both of us were in the 319 area code, and that wasn't really standardized until later on. And really also in the 60s, the 800 number came about. And that's also kind of what I would say ties into this phone, because the 800 number, the toll, it's toll free. So instead of paying $15 to talk to New York's going to pay $15 to talk to you,
Wow.
because they can get the business. It really allowed for more nationalization of sales and products and also of communication channels and business growth. I mean, really mail order catalogs and other forms and ways of communication were allowed because of really the 800 number. And a lot of this stuff, it's all kind of historical relics. I mean, it's nothing that's valued anymore. People don't really value the landline, the history, and its significance. Everybody wants an iPhone or some fancy doohickey that they can talk to or have steal their data. I mean, to get this compromised, you just had to tap the phone line. But a lot of times that would require a federal warrant. Now you can just download, super fun spyware app or something like that, and they're like, wow, I can get candy crushed and have all this cool gizmos and lights that distract you and steal your data and trample on your freedoms. Where here, with this, you would rent the phone from the phone company, but most phones were very affordable. It was at an $8 a month rate, which was pretty good for unlimited local. Now, the interpretation of local versus non-local really changes. The 319 area code in the Cedar Rapids metro market, which both of these phones would fall under, is actually in the 635 segment of the area code regulatory body, and that could be a whole nother video on what actually falls within those parameters for who would be charged long distance and who would it be. And I can see Captain Unusual is dozing, so I'm gonna switch it to something else here. There was something I was going to ask you in particular about the phones and the context of the phone. Did you have a party line? Because I know it was a private line.
Well, I mean, what do you mean by a party line?
So a party line is what a lot of people would have. Like when I was saying the $8 phone, this would be an $8 phone bill per month, and it would be a party line. Like I believe where my and they were capped at 2 minutes for long distance. And my guess is the small town that you were at too, in the metro area, was pretty comparable regulatory things, and that's one of the reasons the nonprofit co-ops kind of took off, because the economic viability of running copper phone lines and configuring a phone network in less dense populations weren't really viable for what was called Northwest Bell at the time, which was the company that managed the phone lines in the Iowa, Minnesota, and other kind of northwestern, midwestern states. They have a lot of pretty interesting videos kind of documenting that. So it all kind of tied into that same system, but the lines were maintained and installed by co-ops and stuff. I think South Slope is the governing body for this eventually, and was it just? It was just the little Springville co-op for this one. Here, but I think that covers the majority of the things that I really wanted to talk about here and kind of go over. Were there other things that you wanted to chime in about, or other questions that you had?
No, I think you covered that pretty well, and I would like to thank the Deviant historian for being the guest star on this video and being the guest narrator and doing a great job of giving us the lowdown and the rundown of the history of telecommunications in this great country of ours. So thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, and this is Captain Unusual signing out. Thank you for watching this video.